have a question about pillar number one, and this is
Okay.
based on a recent experience that I had on my own podcast. I was hosting somebody, and he was explaining why it was so important to wake up and make sure that you have a 50-gram kind of bolus of carbohydrates in the morning when you wake up, because he goes to the gym. And I'm so non-confrontational. I should have said more, and I get criticism for not saying more when people are saying this, but I want
Look,
to
I'm
let him
not
talk.
confrontational either. I'm with
Okay,
you.
okay. So he goes to the gym, and he knows for sure that if he goes to the gym and he doesn't take on the carbohydrates, the body will run out of the carbohydrates and will have to catabolize muscle to be able to get through that particular workout. And he's really prioritizes muscle. It's really, really important. And I said,
Yeah.
boy, that's really interesting, because I also prioritize muscle, but I've been, one meal a day carnivore essentially for like 6 years. I always work out in the fasted state, and I have verified my body fat percentage, my muscle mass, all the time, consistently, for years and years and years, with all of my clients for years and years and years. DEXA, my InBody,
Yeah.
all the things, and I don't see it with anybody. I don't see it in myself. My muscle mass numbers are exactly the same. I don't see it in my clients. Their muscle mass numbers are better or exactly the same. They're not losing muscle. And he kind of like, that was the way that I pushed back on him. And he kind of like, well, I'm not really equipped to answer, blah, blah, blah. And I
Yeah.
didn't like push him further. But can you explain what was going on in my brain?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So you do. Look, I came from the bodybuilding world too, and they're really big on, and I'm speaking in general terms. So, and again, I mean this so respectfully to everybody, because that is how we learn, is to respectfully disagree with each other, right? In a nice way. And so many of the bodybuilding community, I mean, look at what's going on with the sugar diet. Well, we're not even going to go there, but
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's a different mechanism, but we'll really prioritize carbohydrates, because carbohydrates elicit insulin. Insulin is a growth hormone. So they feel that if you elicit insulin, which is anti-catabolic, for those who don't know what that means it prohibits breakdown, but it's also a growth hormone. So it's preventing breakdown and it's encouraging growth. So if you eat carbs, you're going to elicit an insulin response. You're going to, I guess their mentality is you're going to grow muscle. Okay. Carbs do not really grow muscle. You cannot convert a carbohydrate into an amino acid. Amino acids grow muscles. Now, that's one part of it. The second part of it is, in a fasted state, you're in your body is going to protect protein breakdown. Protein, or our muscle, is a very expensive area of real estate in your body. It is your body's going to fight to save that real estate. It's going to burn other things before it burns muscle. Burning muscle is a very expensive pathway. And so your body's not going to go there first. And every single human, I have 11% body fat. I'm super lean at this point right now. I just had a DEXA done, and to your defense, my muscle mass has gone up. My body fat's gone down, fasting and working out in a fasted state. And so when even as lean as I am, there is lots and lots of stored energy on my body to be tapped into, to be burned before it goes to burning muscle. So your body's going to burn fat before it burns muscle. And heaven knows most of us have hundreds of thousands of calories on our body at any given point in time. I don't care how lean you are, that's available to burn. I mean, we have Robert Sykes, right? Who is it Bronson? Who like, we have all these ketogenic bodybuilders that are proof that the body is going to prioritize saving muscle. By the way, when you fast, what increases? Growth hormone. Like, your metabolic rate actually goes up. Growth hormone turns on to protect muscle. I mean, you can argue, and I will say there are bodybuilders that are jacked as all get out, full of muscle, and lean as stink. Whatever floats your boat. But for me, I can achieve those results or better working out in a fasted state. It not only is about muscle for me, there's a lot more to the picture. It's about
Yep.
mental health. It's about longevity. It's about keeping the inflammation down. It's about keeping my body metabolically flexible and,
Yep.
and being able to burn ketones. Somebody that burns carbs all the time isn't going to be able to be metabolically flexible and go in and out.
Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that answered your question,
Yeah,
but
it answers my question perfectly. No, I spent 13 years of my career actually working on a metabolic cart. And so we first learned how to make somebody be metabolically flexible or make them increase their fat burn. When somebody's a sugar burner, what he was saying is pretty true. Like you do need the carbohydrates to some extent because you're running on so much sugar, you're going to run out so quickly. You
correct.
kind of need more if your body's not going to go through that expensive process of catabolizing muscle. That's where I see some people lose muscle if they're a sugar burner. When you're a fat burner, this is the part I don't think he understood. And the reason why he answered the question is like, you're running on a totally different operating system. You're burning
Yeah.
fuel that is already on the body, like you said. And the example that I'll give is like, let's say you run a wood burning house in the wintertime and you buy a few cords of, wood inexpensively and it sits next to the side of your house. You also have like you said, like expensive things inside the house. So maybe you've got cabinetry, you've got an expensive table, whatever. When
Yeah.
when your fire is running out to keep your house warm, you wouldn't necessarily start with breaking down the table and the cabinetry and all the fancy stuff when you still have tons of wood that you purchased really inexpensively, and that works just fine. That's what it's there for, and that's how the
Yeah.
body can burn fat in a fasted state and totally preserve all the muscle mass. So yes, that was a perfect answer.
Yeah. It's the problem, Casey, where people get into is because they're such a carb eater, their insulin levels are high often. And in the presence of insulin, you can't burn your own stored fat or your own fuel. You can't. You can't tap into that with high insulin. And so they do become somewhat, I guess, catabolic if
Yeah, well said. The other thing that I noticed, like I was already on the keto train and helping people increase their fat burning and decrease their carbohydrate burning when I was doing resting metabolic rate assessments and finding out the baseline metabolism of somebody, just sitting down and doing nothing. It was the people doing intermittent fasting. Somebody on keto would have generally like a higher metabolic rate. People that did intermittent fasting would have a higher metabolic rate by hundreds of calories. I saw it over
Yep.
and over and over again, and it broke my brain until I really understood Jason Fung and his work and like why does your metabolic rate go up in a fast,
I
but
think
it
it can
doesn't
go
go
up
up when you calorie restrict?
like 400 calories a day. I mean,
Six,
it's
seven. I could see
incredible.
6 or 7. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. One dude in particular, it was his metabolic rate should have been 2,000. It was 2,650 or something. He was seeing great
Wow.
results. And I'm like, wow, now you have to eat this many calories. And he's like, what do you want me to do? Like go back to donuts and soda? I can't eat that many calories. And again, it wasn't until understanding Jason Fung and his work and why your metabolic rate increases in the fasted state that completely shifted my understanding. So yeah.
It's just brainwashed. We've been so brainwashed to think that, oh my gosh, if you don't eat every 2 to 3 hours, your body's going to go into starvation mode. We would be extinct as human beings if that was the case.
Totally. Yep, totally. Awesome. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.